please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will keep my remarks short tonight. First, last Friday, I attended with my husband the Veterans Day program put on by the National Junior Honor Society. It was a great program. I've been going to them for several years now. It's unfortunately, we were not able to attend the lunch that was given by the culinary program afterwards, but I'm sure it was a great lunch. And I look forward to attending many more of these Veteran Days programs. Last year, I snuck a picture of my husband in there in his cadet days at West Point. He was really shocked to see it. And as we head into the holiday season, this is a very busy time for everyone. I sent out an email on September 7th. I resent it again to you today. It's a template that CABE had developed for both for Board of Education evaluation and setting goals as a Board of Education to evaluate both our performance and set goals for ourselves. And I sent it out again today to you, looking for feedback as to if it suits our needs or if we want to adapt it. I did get some feedback from a couple of members. I think we should sometime in the early December, before we get too far into the Christmas or whatever you celebrate holidays at the end of December. Now that we have Melinda's goals, which we still need to, sit down and have an executive session to go over those, or another meeting to go over those, maybe we could combine the two meetings as a special meeting. And do we want to evaluate ourselves? I know we've been saying for multiple years now that we really should, and we should set goals as a board. Let's look at that email again, and let's do that. But I know we need to go over Melinda's. So it's tough because we do have negotiations coming up with the custodians and the secretaries. But we really need to push ourselves at least one day in December, and then we have budgets. I mean, it's hard, but we need to get going. So, with that said, I'll open the floor to citizens' comments. Any comments from the peanut gallery out here? I'm dating myself. No? Hearing no comments from here. Any comments from the Zoom audience? No. All right. Then I'll move to student spotlights and the liaison report.
The November 2024 events were 11-1 was the end of quarter one and the day of the dead assembly. 11-5 was TMHS student council meeting at 7 p.m. 11-6 was a half day. 11-7 was the TGT show at 6:30 p.m. in the district auditorium. 11-8 was report cards went home. 11-11 was the Veterans Day, so we had no school. 11-14 was TMHS Winter Sports Parent-Player Meeting. 11-15 is the Football Senior Night at Ellis Tech. 11-21 is Parent-Teacher Conferences for TMHS, 5:30 to 7. 11-22 is the TSLT in-service. 11-26 is the 2024 TMHS Olympics. 11-27 to 11-29 is Thanksgiving break.
Other highlights is TMHS students enjoyed Spirit Week, October 10th to October 18th. Some of those days include Farmer Day, Iconic Group Day, Monochrome Day, Rap Rivers Rockstar Day, and PJ Day. TMHS Homecoming was on October 18th, and 140 students were in attendance. October 23rd, TMHS students enjoyed Shamil Gary's assembly presentation. On the 24th, 55 students took part in FBLA's installation ceremony. On the 25th, TSLT began planning the TMHS Olympics, which will replace Powder Puff the day before Thanksgiving. On October 30th, members of the TSLT attended a leadership conference at Woodstock, where they learned inclusive leadership and how to make a good impression. And on November 1st, students enjoyed the Dia de los Muertos Assembly and Parade.
For TMHS sports, the QVP football team has a record of 4-3 currently. Their senior night will be on November 15th at Ellis Tech. The boys and girls soccer team had great seasons with multiple wins. The boys and girls cross country team competed well at the ECC championships on October 17th and the state meet on October 26th. The boys and girls basketball teams and boys and girls indoor track teams will be starting soon.
Student voice, the student council is working with Mr. Mellon to monitor and improve the workings of the Secure League Hallway Management Program.
And we just picked a new student spotlight today, which was announced, so it will be in the December Board of Ed report.
Right. That's right, you're doing it quarterly now, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I have one amendment, if I don't mind.
Yes.
They're 5-3 actually. A 5-win streak for the
Hey,
football team.
hey, go on, go Tigers. Okay, now, we have the administrative report, and are you going to do that as they come up, they're going to do both the culture and climate plan?
Correct.
Okay. So then, TJ Mellon, please?
You need to be at the mic.
Yes.
Yes, please. What if we swung the mic around to face the table? Would it pick it up? We wouldn't have to?
No, it's important for them to come to the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the boss.
All right,
In
so
this case, you're their
good
boss.
evening, everyone. Got several things to share with you tonight. I want to bring you down to the focus items. Really positive news today. We were informed we received a $5,000 grant from the Scripps Family Fund for Education and the Arts. We're going to utilize that money to create a photography public relations club. Again, we're trying to rebrand Toward a lot to get more students to continue through that pipeline and increase student enrollment. So we think that ties in nicely with our rebranding. And then we now have an Instagram account. We got 97 followers. We'd love if you all followed along. I try to update that as much as I can.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is there a switch on that microphone because it's not coming through?
It is on, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Justin.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just so you know, you're perfect in the audience.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So again, I'm going to go over the culture and climate plan this evening, as well as our Tiger Block. We're going to get information from myself, Cindy Olette, and then Brianna, one of our students. She's going to go over a slide. She's very excited to do that. Pulling some data recently from Q1, and we'll talk about Tiger Block, how that's impacted it. But right now, from this year to last year, we're looking at a significant drop in student failures from 98 last year to 39 at the start of this year. And then we did honor roll assembly this morning. We had 94 students in all get honors, either high honors or honors. So I think that's really a testament to the teachers, the work that they did last year, which I'm very proud of, what they're all doing. And then we'll talk more about the Tiger Block, how that's impacted things so far. We had a really good Veterans Day. As far as the meal went, phenomenal food. I polled the people as they were leaving. They said it was a really, really, great time. The students were excellent. Chef, did a phenomenal job. So really a lot of just some positives going on right now. We don't have a lot of negatives, so when they do occur, I will be happy to share. But right now, knock on wood, things are pretty good. And then in the packet, you can see some of the rebranding we've done. We're also going to do that with Mrs. Spinelli. We're going to rebrand some of the doors with the entrance to the gym to sort of really get our kids excited about sports again. So I think that's been some pretty good positive changes that the students really like. I'll do my culture and climate plan next, if you don't have any questions, unless you do have questions so far. Good. All right, so I reviewed the panorama survey results from last year. I actually combined some goals and added one. The typical template had 3, but I thought it was important to add a little bit more to it. I'm not going to read through everything, but again, we want to show how we're going to support our students, how we're going to support our students and parents. I think they need to work side by side, and we're going to talk about how we're going to support the families and certainly our staff members. So really the main thing that I think you can do to improve a school, as far as, improving test scores and improving, dropping the failure rate, is really just looking at that data, which we spent a lot of time over the summer with the NEAS team and the leadership team. Cindy was an integral role in that, and that's where we're going to use that data to, list our strategies, which I did, our action steps, expected outcomes, if you want to read through that. With students and parents, really just trying to get out there more, interacting with them, keeping lines of communication open. Anytime getting the word out about attendance and how crucial that is. We've seen a massive reduction in our tardy rates, which is good. And our attendance has been averaging in the 90s or higher, 90% or higher for the first few months. So we're already seeing some positives there. We want to get our families more involved. We see that trend, and it's pretty much everywhere. Parents love to volunteer at the elementary level, less so at the middle school level, and then by the time kids get to high school, you see less parent engagement and support. So again, we're really going to try to reach out. I think Instagram is one way to really draw them into the school. They want to see the good things that we're doing at Tortolot, all the great things our students are doing and teachers, keeping lines of communication open, making sure that we're updating families on a regular basis, and hopefully we'll continue to get more and more parents involved. And I always look to my staff and students to find additional ways we can support our goal. And then the goal to support the staff is really just to promote a positive school-wide culture that encourages, supports, and nurtures the needs of our staff members. Keeping lines of communication open, getting teacher feedback. They're the experts in the area, so I think it's important to listen to what they have to say. They've been in the building much longer than I have. Again, utilizing their expertise to promote things that they think that will change the school for the better. So I've really enjoyed my first few months so far. A lot of good things happening with that, and please take time just to review the plan. Email me if you have any questions or if you have any now.
Madam Chair. Kathleen. Madam Chair, if I may, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. We discussed last month, at last month's meeting, that PSAT, or PSATs and SAT scores were skewed because some kids aren't going to college, so they just pretty much take them, but they don't really take them seriously, right? We had that discussion last month.
Yep.
As part of the expected outcome, you have that that you're going to increase the achievement by 10%.
That's always the goal. It's like sort of the minimum mark you want to set. It's going to be challenging to get there, but again, we just want to get the kids in the mindset, even those students that don't think they're going on to college, to take the test seriously. We have money in various funds into donations to reward students, and typically it's really difficult to gauge performance in a live realm, but you can typically, and what I've done in previous schools is sort of measure effort. How long does that, how many kids or students take, a percentage of time to really analyze the questions, go back over, teaching them strategies, rewarding students for effort. Again, I told the junior class, they did the PSATs, this is a test against yourself. Does not worry about competing against other students in the school, other students in other schools. You compete against yourself and you look for those improvements. Because even if you're not going to college, these tests can challenge you to think critically, and that's what the goal is. We did have some success for some students that really didn't want to take the PSATs, and we sort of talked them into it. Again, it was a effort thing. It was taking pride in your education, and they willingly took them, so that's a good thing. And again, just making sure when springtime comes, they're prepared, they know our expectations, and, going to try to reward their efforts and energy, so
Okay.
we'll see what we can do.
And you do have plans, and I think when you talk about Tiger Block,
Yes.
you do have plans to address the SAT and
Correct.
PSAT
Yep.
scores.
I just wanted to make sure that we're putting a tangible metric in place for that, and that we're not kind of looking for pie in the sky.
Yeah.
And my other one was on the goal number 3, where you talk about students and families. I think it's a great expected outcome. I'm just wondering how we're going to measure it.
So yeah, I mean, that's again, we're gonna look at events that we host, like we're gonna do a spring career fair. And the goal, on nights like that, we can see how many how many families actually show up. For one thing, this year we had a really good amount show up at freshman orientation compared to last year. So any events like that, we'll look at that data from last year or prior years to this year, and that's how we can gauge ourselves. Are we getting people to come into school? To get them to come to school, it's got to be about their kids. They want to see a product. They want to see an outcome. They want to see a creation, and that's what we're going to try to do with the spring showcase. And again, just gauging family feedback as they come into the office, talking with families, making ourselves available when they need help, reaching out to families that we know are in crisis, showing our support, and that's our goal and objective for that.
I just want to, I think I read through these earlier today. I think they're excellent, but I want to make sure that there's a metric.
Yeah, you have to have a metric
that we
at
put
the
behind
end.
it, and that there's
Yep.
a baseline
Yep.
under it as well. So.
Yeah, and my baseline is again, working with my teachers who were here last year and know what things looked like, what numbers looked like, again, stuff that I can also look at through our survey works. And again, we're going to run that same questionnaire out there, and we're going to look at metrics to see if we've improved in those areas. So that's another way we can measure it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time.
Couple questions. Question 1, do you have an extra packet by any chance?
You can have
Okay,
mine.
thank you.
I will just.
And then, question 2 is, or more, yeah, actually, 'cause my packet doesn't have. There's more of a statement on the SAT thing. So we've been going to colleges with my daughter, and they're not even taking, some aren't even taking SAT scores.
During COVID, after COVID, and because I have a student that's a sophomore at Bryant, and again, SATs, because they were trying to just get kids in,
Yeah.
sort of went by the wayside. But I think you're going to see in the next few years, just
Yeah.
based on my research, that they're going to re-implement that. Because I think you're getting a lot of kids at the college level now that should have probably taken SATs, and they're seeing that with the
Right.
classes, the freshmen and
So I don't know if
sophomores.
that's maybe something to articulate to the students, that this could be something that's coming back, because right now our seniors are going into freshman year, they don't have to take the
Yeah.
They don't have
Yep.
to submit SAT scores.
Like, very
to
good
many
idea.
schools. So just as a
Yeah.
thing for when you're really trying to get them to focus on it, that it will be a thing again.
Absolutely.
So that they know, because right now it's still not, so.
I mean, I would like to see it. I mean, if I had to take them, they should all have to take them.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Any other questions on that?
Anybody have any more questions? No?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bryce, can you project the Tiger Block slides?
I got it.
Perfect. So we just want to give you a very, quick introduction to tell you what Tiger Block looks like in Power School's adaptive scheduler. Myself, along with Cindy and Brianna, we're going to review that with you. I also want to take a moment to thank Kim Renato, who last year, she was a big part of making sure this got scheduled into our current program, so thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. All right, so what does Tiger Block look like? Every other day on our B days, second period, we have what's called Tiger Block. It's a flex block, which is dedicated time during every other school day when students spend time personalized to their ever-changing needs. The next slide is just what the schedule for time, passing time looks like. The purpose really was developed out of the NEASC visit. So if you can go to that next slide, Bryce. Perfect. And I'm going to turn that over to Cindy.
So, I remember the last time I think I was here visiting with you all, talking about the NEASC visit. And the next slide actually has our priority goals, which I'll touch on again in just a minute. But it was really to help us address some of those NEASC priority goals. But we also had attended a NEASC conference where there were other schools in the state that were using the Tiger Block to really support students, to provide, number one, academic support, during they call it protected time during the school day. Of course, we have a lot of students that are unable to stay after school, so really providing that time during the school day to give the students that academic support that they needed. So that's one of the major priorities of Tiger Block. But also, what comes with that, along with academic support and then some other enrichment activities, et cetera, which we'll go over what Tiger Block entails, is really to build stronger relationships that will, of course, bolster our attendance rates and graduation rates, because the closer relationships you have with students, miraculously that equates to greater academic performance. So building those relationships, giving students new opportunities to learn new things outside of the classroom with their teachers, whether they're activities or enrichment beyond what's going on with the curriculum in the regular classroom. Brianna will talk about stress and how stressful it was last year with no time for students to have that protected time during the school day with their teachers. So really looking at decreasing stress levels. And if you're a teacher and you know how frustrating it can be when your curriculum is being interrupted quite regularly by assemblies and other special programming. So Tiger Block also gives that protected time for doing special school-wide programming for our students without disrupting regular class time. So it's fantastic. The next slide, really, just to review what our NEASC priority area goals were. Tiger Block is a great remedy for some of these priority areas, these areas for growth that we have, that NEASC is going to come back around in March of 2026 to see how we're doing. If you're looking at priority area 1, we're really talking about Tiger Block was meant for addressing priority area number 1. It's to provide that support, that protected time to intervene and help our students that are struggling academically in their courses. If you look at just skipping to priority area number 4, of course, about the budget and having sustainable funds to support our students, Tiger Block, not that we don't need those budgets passed, everybody, but Tiger Block provides a free, if you will, means to provide not just the academic support, but also that behavioral and emotional support for our students. So we're hitting priority at number 4, and then priority areas number 2 and 3 both require some protected time for teachers during the school day to collaborate, using data to collaborate and improve the school, but also to write some of that curriculum that we need to have written and revised on a regular schedule. So really, Tiger Block is helping us to meet all 4 of our priority areas. So it's quite wonderful. Turning it back to you, sir.
Yeah, so Bryce, you go. Yep, perfect. So again, some of the Tiger Block, which Cindy mentioned, is predetermined. Like we did our Shamil Gary presentation during that block, which was you're not pulling students out of class time. We also did our honors assembly today, again during Tiger Block, again not pulling students out of math, social studies, science, English. Again, it's very flexible. Teachers create Tiger Block sessions on a weekly basis, and students choose their sessions in the Power Schools Adaptive Scheduler. And what we've noticed, and we thought about ahead of time, is it morphs as the quarter progresses, where at the very beginning, you have a lot of students that are eligible for activities, where as we get towards the end of the semester, students are looking at their grades, teachers are looking at their grades, and now they're going to schedule that student in for what we call, in the next slide, a workshop. So if you want to go to that next slide, Bryce. So these are the different categories. So workshops for extra help, makeup work, etc. We have an enrichment period where they deepen and enhance understanding and try to apply that knowledge and skills in practical contexts involving real-world applications. Special meetings, again, class meetings, and activities. The teachers, at the beginning of the year, we brainstormed a list of activities that the students would enjoy. We just updated that list again to come up with some things that'll be more conducive to the winter months, taking some of the students' feedback, input, and really it also gives that some of the activities that the teachers plan for the students is actually something, a personal hobby of that teacher. So the students get to know that teacher on a more personal level and know kind of some of their backgrounds and hobbies, which we also think is really good. Students have agency. That's in the next slide, if you could go to that. Students are able to schedule themselves into sections using that adaptive scheduler, which we'll get into in a little bit. Power School, and they're encouraged to be responsible in prioritizing their needs. Again, did that happen perfectly where students, I'm going to prioritize all my needs? No, some of them want an activity. The way we set the system up, those if they have a below of 70 in any area, they're automatically blocked from scheduling an activity, which is really important, and that's in the last bulleted point. So again, it's sort of forcing them to face reality and to go and show some improvement. Adaptive scheduler is a really unique piece of Power School, and I will let Cindy take over on that one.
I want to start by thanking Heather and her team, for working with us on getting this plugin for Power School plugin. Adaptive Scheduler, it's amazing that it exists and what it allows us to do. It really personalizes our students' schedules every other day, where they can select from those different types of sessions, whether it be a workshop, an activity, enrichment, etc. The students go into their Power School account. They click on a link that says Adaptive Scheduler, and then they're able to select those sessions. Now, like Mr. Mellon said, if a student has any one grade below a 70, they are only going to be allowed to select a workshop where they can be working with one of their teachers to improve their performance within those classes. But if a student is doing really well, they might still decide to sign up for that workshop and get that extra help in their UConn English class, or studying for, I know the AP classes, a lot of students just that really want to use that time to get their work done and done well. They might not choose an activity, or maybe they're really stressed out and they just need to have a little bit of fun, and they can select an activity that they will enjoy as well. If you go to the next screen, you can see what Adaptive Scheduler looks like for the kids. So they'll click on a button, and then it brings them to a screen that shows them what's available to select. So this student has all grades above a 70, so they can see those activities, that enrichment. You can see HDT there because that's also an option for students. Special meetings, if you go, and then we start on the workshops. So if you go to the next screen, Danielle, we can see, that's the rest of the screen that the students would see. So they see a variety: activity, enrichment, special meetings, workshops that they can sign up for. You can see some of the descriptions there. So on that screen, right, you can see the type of session, the teacher, where it is, the capacity. Each session, the teachers can create a capacity. So if you're working with students in a workshop, maybe you're just wanting to not go above 10 usually, because that's a lot of students to try to meet their needs. Then you can see the descriptions of what teachers are looking to address with students there. In the previous slide, you also see the descriptions of those different activities and enrichment. So the students choose, they would click on that workshop, and they're allowed, again, they sign up for 2 sessions per 2B block. So we're not looking at an hour and a half, we're looking at 2 45-minute sessions that students sign up for every other day. So if you go to the next screen, this is also what they see. You can see that select session, so they select that, they press that select session button, and then all those options come up for them. You could see there too, connections, right? All those Pride Day elements, if the board remembers, we had Pride Day, right, last year and the year before. We just built those Pride Day elements right into our Tiger Block. So we still have advisory, we still have collaborative. Students are still doing those student-led projects with teachers that are happening once a month. So it just all fits in really nicely in this schedule. You'll notice too, right, HDT is in there. And, you know, our assemblies just get built right into that schedule. If teachers are going on field trips, they put a field trip in there. So it's really, really useful. You'll notice on the next slide, activity, there's an opportunity, there are opportunities for mentoring and students to come up from the middle school and explore our pathways. It's just, you know, a great opportunity to build all of the above right into our schedule.
Thank you, Cindy. So we also, on the next slide, we did a staff survey on October 9th, 27 staff responding, and then a student survey October 16th with 130 students responding. If you go to the next slide, Bryce. Again, staff survey, some of the things that we were able to pull from that: increased opportunities for targeted intervention, which is so important when you're either working with special populations or just students in general that are struggling. Increased opportunities to build stronger interpersonal relationships, which again is so important for mental health. Increased opportunities for students to make up missed assignments or complete tasks and retake tests. Students, we're seeing less stressed students express feeling supported. Increased opportunities for assemblies, which we mentioned. Increased opportunities to build rapport with other teachers through collaboration. Staff feedback continued. Students are really motivated for the grade requirement to attend activities. They want to do the activities. So some of those students that were always on the border of that 65, 66, we're seeing where more and more students want to get to that 70 or even higher, so they'll be eligible. Students are exploring additional career opportunities, which is important. Tiger Block is providing opportunities for students to connect with peers that they might not see in other classes. Again, allows teachers to help students learn how to study and prepare for assessments, which is so vital for not only the high school but their future. And then students, again, that are doing well are rewarded, which I think is really important. So the student survey results were very, very encouraging, really encouraging. Little Pac-Man there. Should the school continue to offer Tiger Block for students? We had 93% of the population with a resounding yes. And then there was some other students that gave us, you know, some feedback as far as how we could make it even better. If you look at the next slide, how do you feel Tiger Block is working for you as a student? We had, you know, close to 94% of the population giving it a 3, which is good or working great. At, you know, 71%, 92 students. And then, do you feel as though, the next slide, you were able to use this time to help achieve academic success? And again, we saw some really, really good results. 26% gave it a 3, 66 gave it a 4. A quote from a staff member, which is the next slide: I believe it's been very beneficial. The ability to give extra help and instruction via workshops has assisted many of my students in keeping up with the assignments, and the enrichment activity blocks afford us the opportunity to build a stronger interpersonal relationship with the students. We took a show of hands today during the honor roll assembly to get, you know, I want to see it in live and real. And I would say when I asked them, you know, about the students about Tiger Block and how they feel about it, we probably had 99% of the kids raise their hand. And, you know, I think all of you would agree that's been helpful. But we are going to ask Brianna at this time to come on up.
Do this slide first before she.
Yeah, we can put that next slide up. So the comparisons, again, I went over that quickly, from 2397 total failures to 24 down to 38. And then total number of students, and Deb can speak to this a little bit maybe when she does her report, not to put her on the spot, but last year at this time we had 43 students who are not eligible to play a sport, where this year we only have 9. So she recognized that data right away, so I thought that was phenomenal. Next slide, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about the perspective from a student view on Tiger Block. For me, last year as a sophomore, I was like so done because of how stressed out I was. I was very mentally and emotionally drained from trying to balance everything. I'm a 3-sport athlete. I play all year round. And so managing all of my games and practices, along with now working this year, I've been very good this year compared to last year. Last year I didn't have much free time. I was very stressed out and I got home and I just was not motivated to do the work. And this year I've had a lot of time in school to meet with the teachers that I need to see, to ask them the specific questions I need on certain assignments. And it's just been really good. And I feel like compared to our, what did we have a couple years ago? Where we just...
Like just a study hall?
Yeah. So a couple years ago we had a study hall. I feel like some students would be like participating in it, getting what they needed done. But now it's much more where everyone's participating, everyone's doing something. So it's much more enrichful and very good. And this year I just do all of my stuff in the workshops that we're able to select, and then I can go home, I can go to work, and I can play sports and still have free time. So it's really good.
And study hall doesn't count for instructional minutes where the Tiger Block does because it's teacher directed.
Yeah.
And I can attest as her softball coach how stressed out she was because she was our scholar athlete, as well as being stressed out on maintaining those. And I would take the brunt of a lot of it, but it was okay because she was a scholar athlete. So good job.
Yeah, so you can see the two sides of it. The students that struggle academically, it's beneficial, but then students that are very high achievers, it's also beneficial. So it really meets the needs of all students. So,
Kathleen. Heather has one.
I just, as a parent of 2 high school students, a freshman and a senior, both with different academic needs, it's been awesome. Because my son, who always has a bunch of meetings and things that usually drag him out of his classroom, now he can get that accommodated by the Tiger Block. And then my daughter, who sometimes needs academic support, but when she doesn't, she gets to choose something that she likes to do, like an art class.
it's a huge motivator.
Yeah, it is. So it's been pretty great. So good job. Keep it up.
Kathleen, can I speak? And as another parent of a 12th grader, I think the adaptive schedule is amazing to get them ready for college because they are literally picking their whole day, and especially if they're living there. They need
100%.
to know what it's like to sign up for a club that they've never signed up for, or a new activity they've never signed up for. So I think this is a huge confidence builder for them too, and something I hope you guys really promote and are proud of because
It's not going anywhere. So
it looks and sounds great.
Yeah, that was going to be Danielle kind of touched on it, but promote. I think it's huge. I mean, especially with the student feedback that you're getting, the staff feedback that you're getting. I think promoting that downward and outward, so downward to the middle school and outward to the community, is super important. To let parents know that their students are able to choose and/or it is chosen for them if they're not doing well. A block that can help them during the day is good news for parents.
yeah, we're going to do a flyer in the spring, and one of the things we are going to put on there as a promotional tool for our middle school students coming up is that Tiger Block component, and kind of, in a small brochure, be really impactful that what we put in that brochure as far as how is Tiger Block is different from other schools around. So it's a great idea.
I have one more question. So does the middle school then and the high school jive with this Tiger Block-ish a little bit, whereas a middle school student could maybe sample, like you said, some of our pathways?
They are.
Okay.
It may not be during that time period
I
though,
see.
because we have to do it when the teacher has,
Active class going, okay.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
and so it's a lot harder to
Okay.
manipulate, but for instance, our, each one of our 7th grade students, cohorts have gone up to chef. Chef can only have first period off in the morning,
Okay.
so that's when he takes them.
I see.
And then we have kids going up to woodworking, so it's all planned out for the year,
Okay.
how we're having cohorts go up 7th and 8th grade, and then we're eventually gonna have the younger ones as well.
We did the assembly for 8th graders, and I would say overwhelmingly 60 to 70% of those students want to go into a trade field
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to college. When we sort of just did a quick poll.
I think you said it, but I just want to make sure, is the adaptive scheduling, the activities for them, that's staying dynamic, right? You guys are changing that by the...
Changing it constantly. We put the faculty into groups at the previous faculty meeting to brainstorm additional activities, and we put that on a document that we share with everybody in the school, so they have, something to pick from, or, one of the activities we post might spawn a new idea. And the kids are coming up with ideas as well, so that's always changing, always fluid. We want to try to, stay ahead of the curve, keep kids interested.
If I may just add to that real quickly, like our staff, let's say you have a big project coming up and you're going to be scheduling those workshops in to make sure that the kids get the support that they need to be prepared. Or, maybe it's the beginning of the quarter so you can offer some more activities. It's just really geared, and it's ever changing. We set up our sessions the week before, and it's constantly changing what we are offering for our students based on their need.
Just a comment on the overall high school piece. Is there a way that we can get some sort of an open house for the current 7th and 8th grade parents sooner rather than later? Because Killingly's has theirs on Thursday, Ellis has already done theirs, and if I have another 8th grade parent tell me how great their open house was, and then when you list off everything that we offer here, they have no clue. So we need to really start pushing with the current students we have, as well as, reach out to but we've got to start, and this is a good thing to promote, but while it's great that 60 to 70% of the kids say, yeah, they're interested in coming here and they have, dreams to go into a trade program, not necessarily college, that doesn't mean that their parents are of the like mind to keep them here either. So we've really got to work on that.
One of the things we've already are planning is so that spring fair that we do, it's going to be open to the middle school students so they can come and see things in action, what we're actually doing at Turtle Lot. But we could certainly look to schedule something in the near future, maybe something in early December, to get those students. And I can talk to Kim about that.
Didn't you do something at parent-teacher conferences?
Well, that was our TGT night, so it was
hard.
It was difficult to do both, but we do have that plan. Again, that grant we just got to, really looking at promoting not only just Tortolot, but the whole school district as a whole.
I think with the rebranding that you put forth, along with Tiger Block, the Pathways programs, I think that. And your outreach with Instagram, and I don't know if you're doing TikTok or anything like that.
Yeah, I wanted to not stress Mrs. Smith out too much, so we started with Instagram. But again, I want to give that, and one of the things I was thinking about today is, I'm going to reach out to Kim, get her permission, obviously, but get that Instagram to the middle school parents and students, and then just, overwhelm them with all the great things that we're doing, whether it's academic, in the trades, Pathways, Tiger Block, all those different things, the rebrand.
Just some executive summary kind of flyer of the Pathways, of the Tiger Block. I mean, I think Tiger Block is innovative, and I'm so glad that we're doing it, because I think it'll help a lot of the students moving forward.
Great, thank you.
To piggyback on what Jess said, we're competing directly with Killingly and Ellis, and we want, if they're doing theirs in October, November, we should be doing ours in October, November, early December at the latest. We want to keep these kids here.
Yeah, just as is my own opinion, I'd like to do things last, because a lot of times you know, when I interview candidates, I usually save the best for last, because you want to make that the lasting impression, because typically they're not going to make their decision till the second semester, but so if we can schedule it yearly on a consistent basis, and then we can look at data and see what's working, what's not. If we have to move it up, we move it up.
Fair enough.
We'll definitely try to do it in December.
Yes.
And I would drive home too that small school, big opportunities. These kids are going to get their spots in their trades in our school.
And they're going to
At
get on their
Ellis Tech.
teams that they want to play.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
when we're
so-
talking the bigger schools, Ellis Tech, I mean, you got 18 spots and 800 kids could be running for the same spot. So I think just when you do your open house, just really drill that into the parents. Like, if your kid wants to be a machinist or a welder, we got the spot for them.
And we got the better technology right now, too.
Exactly.
So.
Whereas at our local tech schools, they have to beat
Fight
out
for it, yeah.
a lot of kids. So I would probably really drive in on that too, just as a piece of advice.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
We could talk maybe Friday at our meeting for the other thing that we're doing.
Sure.
I know, Mrs. Spinelli, you wanted to speak?
I just wanted to refer to the activities. Just you were talking about if they were changing.
Can you
We
go-
also view the number of kids that are signing up for particular activities. And if it shows up.
Could you go to the microphone?
You can't hear me from there?
No.
I could bring it to you. Got to take care of Mrs. Spinelli.
I'm just saying in regards to the activities that we're offering, we also scan to see how many kids are signing up for those. So if there's an activity that's offered a couple times and there's only 1 or 2 kids, then that's going by the wayside, and we're having them select something that's more of interest value to the kids, so that it's changing all the time. So the kids have something that's not a stagnant spot. They go, oh, well, that one's in that zone, nobody's going there.
Yep. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Kim?
Good evening, everyone. Nice job, TJ, that was great. Miss Mellon. All right, so first for the monthly, what's going on at the middle school. First, I want to thank Vice Principal Rebecca Plachek for planning the Shamil Garahi fun, the assembly, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Assembly. It took a lot of planning, and she planned the whole campus, and it worked out great. He was great with the kids. The kids had great feedback. They were talking about it for days after. Also, a shout out to Louise Morrison and the National Junior Honor Society for planning a wonderful veterans ceremony. That took a lot of work and planning on their part, and they actually did the entire presentation. So shout out to the students and again, Mrs. Morrison. All right. We also had a wonderful turnout for our parent-teacher conferences. So big shout out to all our teachers and parents and students. A lot of students came with their parents. It was nice to see everybody. Great shout out to my support staff who stood in the hallway greeting parents and answering any questions that anyone had. So that was good on that end. Also, we have some exciting things going on at the middle school currently this month. We've added many different clubs for enrichment for our students. We have the Yarn Club, the Game Board Club, the Color and Chat Club, Origami, and we just also received the Scripps scholarship, in which we will also be participating in the bowling and a trip to the bookstore and with side with the book club, and also possibly some flag football. So those are things that we're going to be discussing in the future.
But we're very excited to have those things. Thank you, Superintendent Smith, for helping us with that grant. And shout out to the teachers who are participating in the after-school many clubs and activities. So we're looking forward to, the kids are excited.
All right. So now I'm going to go into the
Climate and culture. Very excited about this. Once the panoramic survey came out last year, our staff started in August, and we put together our 3 goals. And we decided for the students, we wanted to change it up and revert back to, we did 3 years of a college, and we're like, oh, well, maybe we need to put more into the theme of Tiger Pride. So that was a huge shift. Our measurable data that comes out of that is in the assemblies now, kids are dressed in red and black. Teachers have purchased red and black for them. When we have Tiger Bucks going on, we actually promote things on our Tiger cart that have red and black to wear to the assemblies. So it's a big theme, and honestly, it's really working. So I'm really pleased that our Climate and Culture Committee made that decision. Our RAW team and PBIS tickets, those are all things where the students are adding input, adding things to the menu that they enjoy to hand in their tickets. So that basically is for our for the kiddos. Also for the, TMS will provide a communication safe learning environment where parents feel they have the necessary information. We're hoping that our Tiger update gives all the parents information on a weekly basis, right down to the wire. We send it out Friday, around that 3 to 5 o'clock. When parents were coming in during open house, we asked them if they were receiving the updates. We had a lot of good turnout. If they weren't, we checked on their email to make sure that the email was part of the on the Power School information system. So that's how we're measuring that piece of data. Also, just, and again, having, standing out in the hallway while parents were coming in, told us a lot. I also started the Principal's Coffee Club. Any of you are welcome to join. It's always in my Tiger update. We've had 2 now. And this one coming up, we're actually planning with Mr. Mellon for the group of parents to take a tour of the high school with the with some of the workshops that are going on there, so that they can, that was a request that they made. So we're gonna have that happen. The parents were very impressed, along with the students. They were talking about how the kids came home with their chef to-go meals that they got to eat when they got home. So that's been a big hit, big talk of the campus. And then also supporting our staff. It's very important to us that our staff feels like they want to come to work and have a positive attitude. I think a testimony and a piece of data is that all of us for Halloween was even, we had pirates, and then we had Where's Waldo, and about, 25 of us dressed up as Where's Waldo. The kids were so into it. They're like, who's the real Waldo? So they were so into it. So we are off to a good start. We're also going to have another survey coming out in January where we're going to monitor our survey. Our Climate and Culture Committee meets every month, sometimes twice a month if we're planning a lot of things. So any questions about our plan? Yes?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to comment that
Sure.
I really liked that you used specific time frames, like daily, monthly. You didn't just make a plan because the state told you had to, and then
Right.
I feel like
Well, thank
everybody
you.
TJ too, you were really committed and you're following through with everything. So I think that they're really, really good.
Thank you.
Yes, Bill.
Just a comment.
Sure.
Which I think was probably missing from the high school, but I really like, you can have all the data you want to improve scores, but if kids aren't gonna be happy and coming to school, but I think you've addressed that, the safe, positive learning environment. And I didn't see that in the high school's part of this. And it might have been there, I just didn't see it. But I think that's a great number one step, to get them happy to be here, along with the staff, and then you can build off of that. So I think that's great.
Thank you.
Yes, Justin.
One more for you.
Yes,
I wasn't gonna let
of
you get away
course.
that easy.
No, come on.
I think it's great that you did mention the metric data. One of the things that we get in a report monthly is some metric data about each one of the schools. I did notice that this month there was a number that ticked up. Is there, when we talk about safe, productive learning environments, was there something that you see as a catalyst to it, or was it just we're finally settling into the school year? And is there something that, from a policy procedure, Board of Ed standpoint, needs our help?
Great question. A couple of things on that. Sometimes kids are settling in, and sometimes it all depends on the situation, which may involve just one person or may involve a group of people. So it all depends. But in middle school, we're always going to have those instances. I would love to say to you that we're not going to have any incident reports of bullying, or sometimes with kids in middle school too, they're figuring out really what bullying means, right? They're on their own more, they're taking more ownership. Cliques matter, kids, they're forming their groups, trying to fit in. So all of that takes a piece in all of this. The best that we can do is, we have a dynamic vice principal who looks into everything with great detail. Even things sometimes that we get ahead of before, because that's our goal, right? We want to be proactive rather than reactive. So we're hoping with the positive outlook on the school and relationship building with teachers and parents, and
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
one of those
wait
that
till
stood
Christmas.
out, so I just wanted to, it was one of those that stood out, I just wanted to ask the question, and I think it's a great answer.
and we said it, and the holidays get tough for kids too, so I'm just gonna say that we may have an uptick because that matters, right? So, but we're trying to get a hold of it and create a positive learning environment.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Larry.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing?
Good evening.
Before I get started, I'm a day late, but thank you for your service to those veterans that may be in the audience. And of course, any veterans that are here. I have a deep appreciation for veterans. My father was in World War II and was a prisoner of war for almost 2 years, so I have a deep appreciation for veterans. We recently lost a K teacher due to certification issues. We are already interviewing a candidate. We have several candidates, and we are already interviewing a candidate. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. We had Electric Boat visit us last week. Lynn Jewett, thanks to Lynn Jewett, thanks to Superintendent Smith. The students, all 75 students, were welding crackers with Cheez-Its. So it was a really fun experience for those fourth grade students. So kudos to those individuals. Teacher conferences held last week. Outstanding turnout. We do value, I know I sound like a broken record, but we value the partnership that exists between families and the school. That's the only way students succeed. That's the only way teachers succeed. That's the only way administrators succeed, right? That partnership, that positive partnership that exists. Shout out to Jesse Duquette, Kayleen Taft, Lindsay Calarco. They attended a literacy conference last month in Texas. They continue to be 3 teachers that our staff lean on for literacy needs at the elementary school. They are trained, Orton Gillingham trained, and they are powerful. And we have probably close to 12 or 13 now teachers that are in the process or are Orton Gillingham trained and provide outstanding instruction to students, and we can certainly see improvements in those students. So shout out to those 3 individuals, and shout out to all the teachers at the elementary school. World Kindness Day is tomorrow. Make sure you wear your rainbow colors, okay? World Kindness Day is tomorrow. And I would be remiss if I didn't say 2nd grade is doing their annual food drive. They do this every year for Teague. We have students from the middle school, from Judy Fairley's class, come down. They count items. It's a really neat partnership, and shout out to Chris Susi, who spearheads that effort in the 2nd grade classroom. So good job to those folks. We have upcoming events. Juliana George really doing a nice job in the violin and the cello lessons every day. Something that I did not put on the report, and I'm sorry that Cindy left, but on December 6th, the class of 2024 and its advisors are holding a parents' night out. Okay, and there's more information to come on that. If you need a babysitter, if you need, I'm not going to do it justice. I'll let the flyer come out, but on December 6th, Parents' Night Out. Of course, Principal Granado mentioned Shamil Gary. He did a nice job in the elementary. Halloween, Dia de los Muertos was celebrated on the same day, November 1st. And our kids have an especially fun time with that. High school students did a nice job. Middle school students did a nice job. Just a fun thing all around. So, and of course, we have the Harvest Lunch coming up November 22nd. There is one of the board members that are seated right here that is coming to the Harvest Lunch. So thank you, Mrs. Schultz. So that's that. That is the updates. That's the elementary updates. I've handed out the Culture and Climate Elementary. You'll have it in your board packet, but I provided some infographics on that two-page sheet. Please understand, just as the middle school and the high school based their results on based their Culture and Climate survey on the Panorama results, the elementary school really dove into every single percentage of that Panorama survey. And so what you will see is what the team determined was the most appropriate point to work on. So the first one, the elementary school, is going to address school climate. Of course, the Panorama survey asked students a bunch of different questions, not only on school climate, but a bunch of different questions. And the responses, we had 123 responses that we based our goal on. Basically, the elementary school addressed school climate on the Panorama survey, specifically the behavior of others as it relates to student learning. So basically, school climate is perceptions of overall social learning climate of the school. And this was chosen from the team because this was the lowest percentile ranking of the questions in the school climate the students had to answer. So based on those 123 responses, it wasn't the exact lowest, but it was pretty low, and it was something that the team felt we could make an impact on. Now, as you move on, like, for instance, you'll see on that little infographic, you'll see school learning strategies, readiness for learning, school belonging, school mindset, school climate. So they were asked questions on all of those. It just happens that school climate, and that infographic got cut off, but it's between the 40th and 59th percentile, so it was pretty low, and so that's why we chose school climate. And if you drill down even further, into school climate, and you click on that on the panorama results, you will see several questions. I don't have to read them to you, but at your school, how much does behavior of other students hurt or help your learning? That only 35% of students responded favorably, so that's why the team chose to work on the behavior of other students as that goal. And so that's that. Sorry, that was a really long-winded explanation of goal one. But some of the strategies that the team discussed in approaching that goal, just as it is in academics, like a really strong tier one instruction in terms of academics is how you reach all kids academically. So for behavior, it's no different. You need a really strong tier one behavioral program, and so we use PBIS. And our teachers are so in tune to recognizing students' positive behavior and giving them tickets when they see that. And so most students want to do well anyway. They really do want to do well. Excuse me. But those students that are on the edge, you really want to hammer them with tickets to recognize everything that they do correctly. So we will continue to work on that. We will continue the Tier 2 PBIS. Now, I'm a Tier 1 PBIS. Tier 2, so if that PBIS program really doesn't reach all of the learners, you go to a Tier 2, just as you would in academics. If that instruction doesn't reach those students, you go to the next level. All right? You provide supports for that student. So supports in terms of this goal may mean a variety of different things. I just chose to put CICO, which is a check-in, check-out model of a Tier 2 instructional method. Basically, you pair a student with behavioral issues with an adult in the building that is not necessarily their teacher. Okay? So if that student does what they need to do on a daily basis, they can connect with that adult and do a variety of different fun activities. So that was goal number one. Sorry, I'll try to go a little faster here. Goal number two, again, and I should say, so we work just as the middle school does, just as the high school does. We take pride in working on this all of the time. Even the if you flip your pages, the learning strategies, the school belonging, school mindset, readiness for learning, grit, family engagement. Even though we didn't choose that on our survey, we work on that every single day. I just can't drive it home enough that we made our decisions based on the percentages from the Panorama survey and nothing else. So goal number two, addressing family engagement on the Panorama Parent Response Survey. This was based on 181 total responses, and basically Panorama defines family engagement as the degree to which families become involved and interact with their student school. And if you drill down even further in that question of family engagement garnered 17% of a favorable response. But if you click on family engagement, that brings up those questions, and I'm not going to read them all to you, but the one that we chose is, how often do you meet in person with teachers at your child's school? So we felt as a team, that we really could work on this. And just as Mrs. Granado had mentioned, I think she called it a coffee club, the elementary school is also going to be holding an opportunity for parents to come in and chit-chat and observe the school. So I think that's going to be a great opportunity for parents. We always have great turnouts for parent-teacher conferences, open house. And I'm sure we're going to see some of those same parents that show up, but our hope is that we see other parents. Yeah, I think it's going to be a positive thing. I just want to make sure I didn't miss. So offering volunteer opportunities, as I mentioned in my notes, we're holding a harvest lunch on the 22nd. That was really the first time in the school newsletter. I mean, we have parent volunteers come in all of the time. I don't want to send you the wrong message, but that was the first time that we put it sort of in writing. Hey, if you're interested, respond to me, respond to Mrs. Ellsworth. Does that make sense? I mean, that's the first time we really put it in writing. So obviously we're looking for volunteer opportunities in everything that we do in the elementary school. We'd love to have parents come. I'd love to speak to parents. Faculty and staff would love to speak to parents. We appreciate it. We appreciate the time that they take out of their day to come to the school. So, excuse me. So that was number 2. And then finally, number 3, addressing, MRFES will address school leadership on the Panorama Parent Response Survey, specifically increasing staff input. Again, I don't want to send the wrong message. Again, this was based on Panorama results, but we're always open to input. Always. But as you can see, if you flip through those handy dandy infographics, this was only based on 16 responses though. 16 responses. So I don't. We certainly have more than 16 faculty, staff, etc. at the elementary school, and the teachers could have, and you'll see readiness for learning, professional learning, school leadership, resources, evaluation. The team didn't feel like evaluation. We have a new evaluation system in the district. So we didn't really choose that. Resources, the team didn't feel as though they wanted to kind of throw their hat in the ring with resources either. They just felt like the making important decisions and input was the best bang for the buck. So as a result, we had mentioned that we're going to be sending out more staff surveys, garner some more input, and we're excited to be able to do that. Again, I sound like a broken record. This is based on the Panorama survey. Any questions? Yes, Mr. Hung.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay. 2 things. One, I hope Ms. Granado is going to get some royalties from you stealing her coffee hour with the principal.
That is a Megatron.
And secondly, going back to your monthly report, I've had personal interactions with Ms. Calarco, some of the things that she's doing in our district and some of the things that have been brought to the district when it comes to dyslexia, which has been it's been definitely something that through the years has been frowned upon, and Lindsay has brought it out to be something that we should recognize and encourage the change in the mindset with it and teach ahead of it. I can't tell you enough the amount of impact she's had on my own child, as well as what I've heard from other parents in the district who have had exposure to her, and the Orton Gillingham and the rest. I don't want to minimize the rest of the teachers that are involved, but that program that we have here in Thompson with regards to dyslexia and literacy is top notch, and that's another thing that we should be promoting throughout the area, is that we have this program and that she is one of the leaders in that program. It's amazing, and it's doing really well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd be happy to share that with her.
And Lindsay's coming next month to talk about the Right to Read program, and then just a little update on the language-based reading program as well. So I'm glad that you're recognizing that, because the amount of work that has happened all through the summer to get ready for the language-based classrooms, and certainly the work that the classroom teachers are doing in those configurations is quite phenomenal. And it's not about just Orton Gillingham, it's about the science of reading and addressing dyslexia. And that's what we really are honing in on. And Kayleen, Jesse, and Lindsay are currently, they have completed their advanced training, are now moving into therapeutic training. They are going to be light years ahead of any other educator in the region when it comes to that. So, I mean, that's a program that we're really proud of. And it's going to have growing pains this year, but you are right. It needs to be promoted. I did ask Gary if we could go on the talk show to talk about that. I think he was busy with the political scene lately, but I'll ask, maybe Deb can spare a Tiger Talk block so that we can get those ladies on there and talk a little bit about that program.
I think what else is important, just to piggyback on that, one of the things that I realized during parent-teacher conferences was when anybody mentioned Orton Gillingham or dyslexia in the hallway, there were teachers that were poking their heads out and giving their opinion, and it was all excitement. So I think it's actually helping with some of the climate in the elementary school from a staff perspective as well, where they're excited to be on the leading edge of something as dynamic and as life-changing as this program with dyslexia. So I think it's huge, and I hope we continue to promote it here in the district.
Kristen?
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
I actually have a child in one of the reading rooms, and their DIBEL scores have, from last year where they weren't getting support to just like 3 months into the school year, have actually gone way up. So I agree with everything that Justin said. And also I just wanted to say thank you for all of the opportunities to come into the school. I've been invited to at least 2 things every month this year already. I'm pretty involved in my children's education, so I really appreciate that. Also, the school store we were invited to help out with, which I know they had issues with, so I think that's really great. And the PTO conferences, open house, the harvest lunch. I was invited into a pre-K classroom. Like, it's really nice. So thank you, and I hope you keep it up.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. All of you principals of the schools, that's very enlightening.
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Jones.
Good evening. Okay, so currently in special education, we have 188 students that qualify, 64 with 504s. Our out-of-district number is up 2 from last month to 24. In the Bradley program, we have 7 students of the 24 in that program. The Bradley program currently has 18 with 5 neighboring districts. Our percent in special education is 23.5%. The referrals, just a quick update on that. Last year we ended with 66 The year previous to that, we had 34. This year, through quarter one, we have 32. So we're on pace for 128. Good news with the disproportionality. The last 2 years, we were disproportionate. I think everybody remembers this. And students that are white qualifying for speech services. If we were over 3% and we were at 3.27%, we were disproportionate. It's currently being reported that we're at 2.46%, so we are no longer disproportionate in that area. So in the IDEA grant, we do not have to put the 15% set aside for that area. So a little bit of good news in that area. But I just wanted to go back to the out-of-district number. So one time ago, I was about 50%. We had about 50% of the out-of-district in the Bradley School Windham County program, and another 50% were outplaced in other schools. So that number is definitely skewed right now. We're less than 1/3 in the Bradley School Partnership, and that is largely because we're short-staffed in that program. Currently, we have one teacher. That's the high school program. The middle school and the elementary do not have a teacher currently. They're looking to hire. But that is causing a little bit of a flux, so I cannot refer to middle school or elementary in that program. I have to look outward. I did put a hyperlink on number 5 just so you could see at last glance on CT REAP. There's 183 open positions across the state for special education teachers with a comprehensive K-12 certification. But I just want everybody to be aware of that. And then just lastly, in terms of the excess cost, I know I shared with you, the threshold was $96,219 this year. Anything over that is a full 100% reimbursable rate. Just did some quick numbers, and with that, we're looking at 6 students that would qualify as part of that, and it's roughly about, don't quote the exact number, but roughly $340,000 that would come back through excess cost. Any questions?
How much was there last year in excess cost reimbursement?
146,000? 146?
Yeah,
It's a significant difference.
Right in that area.
Yeah, and again, because that percent.
Yep, thank you.
I have questions, but I'll reserve for the financial report. Is that
Nothing to me.
Well, questions for you, but Bill's got to get to his report first, then I'll ask you questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cart before horse.
Okay, Bill Steglitz.
Hi, everybody. Actually, this month's financial report is pretty similar to last month's. Obviously, our total budget hasn't changed. Our year-to-date spending is pretty much on track with where we were at this point last year. A little bit of a change in the encumbrances area. We're ahead of where we have been in the past. I think that's simply reflective of folks opening purchase orders probably at a better, more appropriate pace this year. All in all, projected spending is ahead of where we were last year, coming in at 96.4% of the total budget, whereas at this time last year we were at just under 94%. These amounts do not include any excess costs yet. Those payments haven't come in yet. Pupil service, we still have the same 2 departments projected to be over budget that we talked about last month, and the drivers really are largely the same. Pupil services, now the deficit is expected to be $823,000. It's paraprofessionals, special ed teacher salaries, RBT and related spending, and out-of-district placement. I believe that's where the bulk of the increase happened since last month. These overages are continue to be offset by savings in special ed transportation. Also of note, I included a cafeteria report. At the moment, the CAF is expected to be about $9,000 in the black, or is running currently $9,000 in the black, which is great to see because this is after the health insurance share that we started last year, so that has continued this year. In other news in finance, the budget templates were sent out to the administrators and the directors last Friday. It was met with just absolute glee across the district. They're pulling me aside in the hallways. It's a great time to be in finance.
That's unbelievable.
And another bit of joy, the auditors will be on site next week. Planning there has gone very well. We're actually ahead of where we have been in the last couple of years in terms of providing information to them and already pulling supporting documentation ahead of time. They'll be here Tuesday to Friday of next week. So if you're looking for me, I'll probably be down at the town hall. Questions?
Number of people. So we have paraprofessionals is up. How many more? How many have we had to hire?
8, Chris?
I want to say that's right. 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Paraprofessional nurses.
8 is right.
8.
8.
Okay. And then additional teachers hired in response to student needs. Is that included in that 8? So was it, you have, the paraprofessionals' expenses are expected to be higher because of student IEPs, hiring additional paraprofessionals and nurses. Was that 8? And then after that, you have another line that has special education teacher salaries are projected over additional teachers hired in response to student needs. I'm just trying to get the people count.
Sure. Just to clarify, the nurse is in addition to the 8, so the nurse doesn't count as the para.
Okay.
Okay,
So that's
para is
9
one
bodies.
nurse, so it's 9 bodies.
Yeah.
And then your question about the teachers, say that again?
He has, in the second line, its special education teacher salaries are projected to be $245,000 over budget. Additional teachers hired in response to student needs.
Yeah, so we added an additional teacher to the middle school, and then we added a K teacher for elementary.
So that's 11. Okay. And then the only other question I had was RBT and related spending are projected higher levels of need and critical threat assessments during the year.
Mm-hmm.
This is different from years past.
No, we've always had threat assessments run through pupil service, and how many we've done so far? 3, and I think could be another one on the horizon. So you got to understand that those threat assessments are done by a clinical forensic psychologist that's based on issues that come before the threat assessment team. And so the team will recommend that type of an assessment, but is it like $3,500 an assessment?
On average.
Okay.
It really rides on the number of issues we have annually. I would say I'm not going to say it out loud, so I was going to say we seem to be in an okay place right this minute.
I'm just trying to understand. We're going to get to budget time, and we're going to talk about teachers and paras and bodies and things like that. And I just want to understand where we were this year when we started versus what we need. I think last year we added the 3 paras that we thought we would need at the beginning of this year. That was added back into the budget, and now we're plus 8 paras on top of that, plus a nurse, plus 2 additional teachers.
Yep.
That does drive the budget. So,
And as just a little bit of background there, as we project not just in pupil services but across the district, we take a pretty hard look at current head count, and then we sit back and examine that, and like last year where we added the 3 in, we'll do the same exercise. So the additions in this year will be in the base for next year for your discussion.
Yeah, and I think we did talk about it during budget, but we shifted that. We were hoping to shift that position onto IDEA grant. That 15% that Chris talked about earlier will help offset that salary a little bit, but I guess there wasn't enough allocation to cover the whole thing.
And by the way, that was great news on on the special ed excess cost numbers. I didn't realize that they were looking to be in the mid-3s. That helps them.
That is good news.
In terms of, oh crap, train of thought just derailed. I'm good.
Yeah, you know what?
Tom has a question. Tom?
Dr. Dillon, a little more built. Are any of these positions able to offset some of the costs without any funding?
I'm sorry, Tom, you broke up there at the end.
Is there any funding able to offset the cost of the additional staff?
Unfortunately, at the moment, no.
Just that 15%.
Right, that Melinda just mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Does this number, the number you have as the over budget number, or the dollar amount that we're over because of these staff, does that also include the health insurance if they've taken it?
Yes.
Yep. It does, okay. All right. Any additional benefits, good, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Bill Birch.
Okay, nothing but sunshine and lollipops here. So, the middle school, elementary school combination field, because of overuse and drought, is beyond use. So we've locked the gates, we've closed it. We've contracted with Rad Sports Turf, excuse me. And they're gonna come and do deep tine aeration and an aggressive overseed for a price of about $3,300. But in the end, the bottom line is we all need to pray for rain. And if that is the case, then maybe a year from now, that field will be usable again. In the meantime, this week, we're going to break up the rest of the concrete in the old playground area. We're gonna contract with the folks that I had spread wood chips in the new playground. We're gonna put fresh playground chips down there, and at least that area will be able to be used for recess. When we started the boilers this year, we had oil pump issues in the elementary school. So, which the elementary school normally has been one of the easier systems for the last 20 years. The system was put in, I believe, in 2000, so it's now 24 years old, going on 25 years old. The main oil pumps failed over the weekend, and subsequently we lost the oil pumps and the blower motors on 2 boilers, 2 water heaters, and we kind of fought with this system for a good 2 weeks till we finally got it all back online last Friday. And we do not even really have the total cost on that one yet. We're still waiting for the correct oil pumps to come in, the main pumps, but they're 8 to 12 weeks out. That was, I'm going to say, 2 weeks ago when I ordered them. I know those are going to cost us another $7,000 in addition to what we've already spent on this. Yesterday, when I was here for the pre-bid conference on the HVAC project, I walked through the middle school and found glycol on the floor of the boiler room, which is an indication that one of those boilers, which are due to be replaced next summer, has some kind of phantom leak. I shut the boiler off, and this morning it was dry. I've turned it back on, and I'm going to check before I go home, but there's something going on there. I'm praying that it's not another crack section, because again, we've already shortened one boiler up by 2 sections, and if I have to pull a second section out of the second boiler, that's probably not going to be good news either. The bright spot is the Rotary came yesterday, and they put some subsequent pieces of equipment in the new playground. There's a set of drums out there and a xylophone. They put those in yesterday. The door project is moving along at its same pace that it has all summer. They still owe us a completely replacement on 3 doors. I did get them here last week to replace hardware on 3 other doors, which is mostly done now. There are still issues with the back door at the kitchen, so I've got them coming back to try to address that. In the meanwhile, we found another door contractor, and he came and they did hardware on the high school front entrance, and they were here for about a half a day. And so far, everybody seems to think that that's good, so they may be our new door contractor. So there was a little bit of money left over in the door project from the original allocation, and that's what we used to fix the doors at the high school. We may be able to squeeze a couple more out of that didn't get put into the original base bid. And as I said yesterday, we had a pre-bid conference on the HVAC project. Good news is I had 6 vendors here, so we know we at least have some interest in that project. It was a non-mandatory meeting, so there could be other vendors out there that will submit a bid based on the construction documents. That moves quickly now. The bids are due on December 3rd. RFIs are due this coming Monday, and we hope to have a recommendation ready for the building committee by their December meeting, which is December 10th. And as soon as we get a contract issued and signed, hopefully we will have people in here by the first of the year, mostly second shift, to start getting some of this work done. Anything? Okay.
Okay, Heather?
Good evening. In the last 30 days, we've resolved over 226 tickets, so numbers are still going strong. An esports update, we have a team, the Scorching Tigers. They have 2 more matches left. They're doing okay. I had the kickoff call for our ClassLink program, which is going to be a single sign-on platform, which will allow students, parents, and teachers like a dashboard where they can access all of their things in one place. It's a lot to set up. I have to send them a list of IP ranges. They have to get their server set up. I have to contact all the programs that we use to link to that server. So I will be working on that pretty much the rest of the year. Gathering budget information with Bryce and with Apex Technology Group for the school and for the town, to put forward some recommendations on infrastructure, software and hardware upgrades for next year, to get a good idea of where we need to be, to focus on that. Whatever I can put through grants, I will. And then we had about 35 Chromebooks and laptops, grades 1 through 12, out for repair last month. I think I mentioned that I submitted the cybersecurity grant pilot. It's a pilot program, so not everyone will be selected. It's for cybersecurity. If we are selected, we could get up to $45,000 to strengthen our cybersecurity footprint. And there's a Power School user group virtual meeting later this week that I'll be attending. Those meetings have been very, very beneficial for me. So, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? No? Okay. Deb?
Okay, we finally wrapped up our fall season, except for football. They have a senior game this week. Friday, and they're 5-3 right now, so hopefully we'll win out this rest of the season. Middle school finished with both soccer teams losing in the semifinal league championship round. Middle school cross country went to Wickham Park. Our boys team actually ended up 6th in the state as a group. And Jaden Watkins came in 55th as a lone runner for the state. High school soccer both of those teams have been completed their seasons. I've talked about that before. And we have our parent-player meeting for middle school tomorrow night, and Thursday night's the high school to open up the winter season. We had our coaches meeting tonight for the winter coaches, and we went through all our discussion for the upcoming season, and getting ready to go. Any questions?
Good luck in the winter season. Greg?
We're good. I just glad you didn't have any questions for Bill. I felt bad for him. Just the words. Well, the drums and the xylophones, right?
All right. Okay.
We've got Shannon and Michelle online.
Is she online?
Shannon is there. I don't know about Michelle. Yeah, they're both there.
Okay, well, all right, we'll start with Shannon. Do you have anything to add?
Good evening.
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, sixth season is officially here.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of everything. We're having the flu vaccine clinic on the 14th. NDDH is coming to do that. And that is from 3:30 to 5:30 at the ballerina. Right before the sports meeting. Tomorrow we're receiving our first shipment of feminine products from the Connecticut Diaper Bank. And lastly, I am working on a state report for immunization reporting.
Any questions for Shannon? Okay, thank you, Shannon. Michelle?
Hello, everyone. So we filled 2 positions this past month. We filled paraprofessional and we filled a special education at the middle school. Kindergarten has an interview tomorrow. Food service director has an interview on Thursday. And we've offered the middle school music position. We're just waiting on a decision from that person. Tonight, I just received some final communication for our long-term, short-term disability, and I will be opening enrollment this coming Friday, the 15th. And our diversity plan was that we submitted back in March. We received conditional approval. I had to resubmit small changes that we should be implementing at the beginning of the new year. And Panorama survey has been, contract has been signed, and we'll be sitting with the team to go over the questions hopefully very soon, so we can get that out for the beginning of January as well.
Great. Any questions for Michelle? No? Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay. The next.
Sorry, did we get a copy of the updated diversity plan, Michelle?
Copy
Had
of
to
what?
change? The diversity plan that Michelle said she had to change, minor changes? Did we get a copy?
Sure.
No, we
We
didn't
did?
get one, but.
We
Oh.
didn't send a copy. It
Okay.
was minor tweaks that she had to do to comply with the state's requirement, but I don't think she changed the essence of the plan. Did you, Michelle?
No, absolutely not.
No.
We just had to update some wording.
Because I think we approved that plan as a board, right? As
You
it was
did.
written?
We can certainly put it on next month's agenda.
Yeah, I think we should just see the amendments, just to make sure that
Yeah.
we didn't miss anything, please.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we have some minutes to approve. One is from our special meeting on October 15th, and the other's from the regular meeting of October 15th. May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Make the motion, Kathleen.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on these minutes? Hearing none, I'll put the motion to the floor for a vote. Tom, you just say yes if you agree. Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes for the special meeting and the regular meeting of October 15th, say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any opposition, say no. Any abstentions?
I'll abstain. I will abstain. I
You'll
wasn't here.
abstain, okay. Okay, then they pass with one abstention. Okay, and now I will turn it over to the superintendent for the enrollment report.
Subcommittee updates.
Oh, subcommittee update, I missed one. We didn't have any sub.
We didn't have any.
No,
did
we didn't have any,
Okay.
so. Okay, now I'll turn it over.
Okay, so our enrollment is down this month by 6 students. We're at a total of 800 students. At Mary R. Fisher Elementary School, we have 356 students. That's down 3. At the middle school, we have 263 students. That's up 1 student. And at the high school, we have 180 students. That's down 4 students. And then, of course, Dr. Jones gave you an update on out-of-district placements, and you can see the numbers for the Ellis Tech, Marionappolis, Pomfret School, Woodstock, and homeschooled. So that's the update on enrollment.
Melinda, real quick on that. The excess cost grant tuition number, is that calculated at the beginning of the year's
So,
enrollment divided by, or is that end of year? or-
so April just had to do a report around that. So they dipstick it then, and then they do it again at another time so that we capture everybody. And then the payment comes out in February. I think maybe 75% of the payment in February, and then again in May, we get the rest. But I think you and I were just both surprised to know that that number was up so high, because last we spoke, it was like around 150. So I think that percentage where we get 100% back over the $96,000 threshold is really gonna help us this year.
But that $96,000 threshold is based on our enrollment, right?
It's based on a formula.
That's a formula from the
tuition.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the tuition was based on our enrollment number.
That's per
divided by-
student, right?
But that threshold is
Yep.
based on a formula that they apply to the district. And then that's why we get that number, that we're at that $96,000 threshold.
It's like 4.5 times our.
Correct.
But if somebody's outplaced at $1 million, that it's, the tuition is the tuition.
Right, but it's the per pupil, I thought, right? So that, okay, never mind. Oh, we don't.
It's a complicated thing.
But it is isn't it though, to Justin's point, it is the enrollment as of October 1st that they apply the formula to?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. So it's
Yeah.
not like our enrollment went down 8 since then, that puts the tuition up. If it continues to go, like, we're at 790 come next month, does that mean our excess cost grant tuition number goes to 100 grand?
Because it depends on the kids that are in, it's
Correct.
only based on, so if like go down 50 kids, but the kids that are still here are still outplaced, it's not gonna change. Only if one of the kids that's outplaced, like say they come back to Bradley program, then it might change because it would go down. You know,
But
like
the
price goes down.
96,000 is based on the October 1st enrollment.
Total
Well,
enrollment.
it's based on, it's based on the student's tuition at that time. So in other words, yes, October 1 is the baseline for kids in and out of the district. But if somebody moved in tomorrow, and we had a $300,000 out-of-district placement, it would be offset by the number of months that are left in the school year.
Right. Where I was going is that base number for the 4X, so 96,000 divided by 4, that base number is based on our total enrollment in the district.
Correct,
As of October 1st.
yes.
Thank you. Sorry, I made that complicated.
So the next thing under my report, and Deb is here, I asked Deb to come and give us an update on the athletic department and the co-op opportunities that we are going to engage in order to maintain teams here in the district. So I think you have 3 to talk about.
Well, you already know we do football.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
you're going to add
That's
in
true.
playing field.
Possibly. We're waiting for that final vote, so that if it will, it won't, it'll be a quad-op instead of tri-op. Okay? Soccer will be a co-op again next year. This is all high school teams, these are not middle school. Middle school, we're managing our numbers. Baseball, we are co-oping with Putnam. Right now, he anticipates 8 coming back, and I'm highballing it with 5. For sure, I know for 2. So then we have golf, girls golf and boys golf, which we will host both of them, but Putnam is paying for the boys coach. I've got the girls coach, and we're both going to be playing we'll be the host school playing at Raceway. So we'll divvy up the cost and the travel with both groups. So we had 2 boys left. Putnam had 2 boys. We're hoping we'll pick up another guy so that we have a team of 5, and with the number of girls that participated last year, we've got 3, Ellis Tech has 1, and Putnam has 1. So that's the 5, because your scoring team is 5. So that's how we're managing that. So I just have to let you know that that's in the works, so that we have board approval. If in fact it's being presented to the league Thursday. As far as golf, they already know about football. And baseball also on Thursday. So it's just to make sure we got a thumbs up from the board.
So that should probably be added on
Yeah,
under new business.
we should add that under new business B.
Do you need a motion, Kathleen? Do you need a motion to add it?
Yes.
Then I'll make the motion to add the athletic co-op under new business as new business B.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We've added, B.
Kathleen,
Yes.
just one quick question.
Sure.
Has anybody ever looked at the numbers of families and children in our town? To see if that percentage has decreased as much as our increase in our population?
I didn't get that.
Has the amount of families in our town decreased
To
justify our
to
population.
justify our
Student
enrollment
yeah.
decrease?
That I
It's more
don't know.
demographic.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that I don't
demographics,
know.
and that would be census related, right?
Yeah.
We haven't had an updated census in
I
town
don't
yet.
have that data.
I would think it'd be, we have less people with children, more people without.
Right,
Yeah.
but that would have to, we would have,
Yeah.
I think, Tom, we're waiting on census data for that, and I don't think we have census demographic data for that in town yet,
Okay, thank you.
updated.
I think I heard somewhere that it was 60% of the towns over 50 or something like that, so I mean, I guess
Since we
that's-
have Deb here, you want to switch D with C? And talk about purchase of the track equipment?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to switch D and C.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we had tabled this at our last board meeting so that we would have time to review the quote.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
I wasn't here last meeting, as everybody knows, but is this the only quote we have?
So Deb,
I'm on the building committee, I've been advocating for this for 20 years. I can't go with, this quote's ridiculous. Do we have more than one quote?
Yeah, so I know Brian and Deb, I think, have, is it 2 more quotes, and they're all within
They're all within the range.
5,000-ish?
I haven't seen those other quotes.
I haven't seen them either, but
Mm.
I think what we gotta really do is look at and prioritize what we need. I can't justify buying a $2,000 tent, two of them on here, and a $71 rake. While I was standing here, I just looked up on Lowe's, a 36-inch rake for $40. These are 71. And I know this isn't the real world when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, but we don't have that kind of money. I think
Yeah,
this
well,
is, I think
the
this is
stumbling block we
crazy.
ran into last meeting. And we're bringing it up again because when we have to order this to get it in time for spring.
I understand.
Yeah.
I've been there on the building committee from day one. I haven't seen any other quotes, and
Okay.
and I can't,
Well, you're having a meeting tomorrow night.
Yes, we
We
are.
can put it off until December, so if that's what you want to do and you want to bring it up again at your, tomorrow and get those other quotes, that's up to the rest of the board.
Is the other one in New England we have.
Yes,
Just
Justin,
got it.
I didn't.
Yeah, Brian sent me a
I'm here too.
Oh.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Can I speak?
Yes, you may.
Sorry, I just got a bad echo here.
Bill, just to answer your comment, I did go get another quote from AAE equipment in Pennsylvania. These equipment manufacturers are kind of far and few between. So your quote that you have is from Guy in Rhode Island, and then I went out and got another quote to Pennsylvania. They're both within like striking distance of one another from a price perspective. But if you wanted to look at the quote and say, hey, do we really need these tents or whatever, that's fine. And we can talk about that tomorrow night, but I'm just letting you know that they were both very competitive. That's all.
thank you.
Kathleen?
Justin?
Yes, Justin.
So, I asked last month, and I'm struggling a little bit more with this month after Mr. Birch's report on our infrastructure systems here in the district. Do we have nothing to run a track meet from years ago, and we have to buy everything brand new?
Deb, you want to answer that?
What-
We don't have hurdles that we can use.
Okay.
They're destroyed. We don't even have enough, we have enough to practice, but we don't have enough sets to run the meets. If we're doing pole vaulting, we have none of that at all. We do have old high jump pits, so we could use those. As far as the rake you're using is a specialty rake where the sand comes through and pours over the top, so you try to keep it leveled in the pit. So we have one, we've got 2 pits now, so that's why we need an additional pit. When that quote was posted, if you remember, I was asked to get Class A track meet. So you get what you pay for.
Well, and maybe that requirement is what's our stumbling block. I mean, I'm gonna have a hard time justifying to the people in the town why we're spending $130,000 on track equipment when we have a boiler that may or may not make it another week, when we have glycol dripping on the floor, when we have other issues going on. We've got classrooms that, teachers were crowdfunding last year for supplies for certain activities for the kids. I'm gonna struggle with approving $130,000 worth of track equipment when we still have that type of stuff going on in the district. It's not that I don't promote and encourage a track team in our school, and I think it's amazing, but that amount of money at this point with everything else we have going on, I think there's priorities above that we as a district need to focus on. I think if we audit the list, audit what we have, maybe try to put some effort into seeing the minimum that we could get by with, maybe. but I'm just struggling. It's a struggle for me.
Yes, Danielle.
Oh, do you want to go first? Oh, I was just gonna ask, when you said Class A, is that like a bigger track meet per se?
The ability to offer all the
Host.
events.
Okay, so would we charge for these events, like, or is there
Not
something?
not when we do regular league meets, you don't charge.
Okay, so is there a possibility to do a smaller package per se?
A what?
Like a smaller package where it's not a Class A to
We
start?
can go through each individual item. like
Yeah,
I've just
okay.
been saying, we can do
Yeah.
that.
Oh, okay.
But when the bid went out, or
Yeah.
when you wanted a quote, you wanted to know what, I was asked to get a quote to basically like a startup of what
Right.
we have. I mean, we've got some old discus, probably we need to probably replace a couple of those. Your shot puts would probably get by with what we had. I'd have to go through every single item with my coach.
Yeah.
To what we have. Sometimes we've gone to meets where we borrowed other people's equipment so that we could run the event.
Right.
So now we're here, we gotta have the equipment here.
Right. So it might be one of those things, just inventory what we have and what we need to host. And then $5,000 for shipping, I was like, whoa. But I guess it's
a lot
gonna
of
be
stuff.
stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Big stuff, yeah.
Like, oh, Amazon Prime.
And one of the other things, just to mention, because I think, and Brian had mentioned it to me, is that these quotes are not, for instance, putting things together is not included. And so that is something that parents and students and athletes, so this budget is pared down to just basically the equipment arriving here on site with someone to put it together, so it's
Like
not
Elf will show
installation
up.
included kind
Can
of
I,
thing.
can I jump in on that?
Yes, you may.
Don't
Don't be confused, like the hurdles, they come all put together.
We're talking about maybe some holes in the ground here or there for installation. So I don't want to make it sound like it's
Okay.
overwhelming.
What's
And,
our-
and the Class A means starting fresh with everything. I've seen the equipment up there just to support Deb. It's a mess.
Awful shape.
It's a mess.
Well, it's been 20 odd years since it's been used. Probably doesn't
High
meet
jump kits that are up
safety
there,
standards.
we had to replace what we had because mats traditionally are good for between 7 and 10 years. The ones we had up there were over 15 years old. I had to get rid of those, 12 years ago. So what we have up there right now are newer, but they're not that new.
We need,
And
we
the only
need,
reason they stood up
we
is
need
one-
everything, absolutely
Right,
need
right,
everything.
right.
Because what we have is junk.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't need everything on this list, is my point.
Okay.
Okay, let's just be smart with the money that we have. We don't need two $2,000 tents. We don't need those $70 rigs. There might be more stuff in here,
Right.
but we
I'm
do
not disagreeing.
need,
But
but
the
we
re-
do need.
The reality will be
everything.
though that it may be that it's only 10 grand, 15 grand that you're gonna pull out, If it's a tent, a rake, some discus, couple of shot puts, you still need all the hurdles, you still need all the
The
high jump, you
expenses of
still need
hurdles.
all the pole vault, you still need all the.
Absolutely, but
timing
if, but if
stuff,
we can
you
save
know.
10 grand, then we're saving
Right,
10 grand.
right, which I
That's
think
my-
is
my
possible, but I think
point.
we need to be realistic that it's still gonna be a big nut to swallow.
Right.
What,
No
It's not gonna be a
question.
boiler, is my point, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
what are we expecting for a size of a track team?
Right now, indoors 15, we usually gain more for outdoor. And we've got a lot of kids, those kids that jumped to play baseball last year that wanted to make that senior group have their season are jumping back to track, so I'm gonna guess we're gonna be close to 20 kids, 22 kids.
Right, but the middle school is slammed.
It's
They-
huge.
they-
Middle school's,
they
was
have to-
55 last year.
They have to cut people, they have so many. you know.
So total of around 80 are gonna use, if we had a track team in the spring, total between middle school and high school, we're looking at 80.
Probably a little more than.
10% of our population?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Don't forget, Justin, this year the track's new. You got kids that are on the bubble that haven't done it before, that are already talking about, we're jumping in because we wanna be out there with it.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be misconstrued that I'm not endorsing the program or the track. We've got a lot of hard bills coming our way. And to justify $130,000 after we spent $1.5 million, after we may have emergency boiler and we're looking for teachers or crowdfunding for classroom activities, I'm just struggling. I really am.
Right, but I think the reality is that you're always gonna have the crowdfunding needed
Yeah.
for classrooms. You're always gonna have boilers leaking or something breaking. That's a constant thing that is gonna be what it is, you know? And I think sharpening the pencils, maybe we can pull, you know, after you look through and see what might be salvageable versus, you know, a need versus a want, you know? I get that, but I think the reality is it's still gonna be over $100,000. So I don't think we can assume that there's gonna be this bill is gonna be cut by half, you know?
Right. It's gonna be terrible to watch a $1.5 million
And we don't wanna
track
keep having to
and
move it to the
not
next
use it.
meeting because we can't come to an agreement on it. So I think at a certain point, I don't know if Deb, if
I've
you,
already talked to
when the
MF
deadline, that it has
MF
to be ordered, you
The
know,
MF
in order to
order-
make the deadline.
MF quote that you have is good till December 31st.
But how long does it take to get once we order it? Will it be in time
It's
for
gonna
the
take a
spring
while.
season? Huh?
It's gonna take a while.
Right.
Well, those mats have come in.
Okay.
So the mats that we ordered,
It was longer than that. It was longer than that, wasn't it?
well, when we ordered them, they just got delivered yesterday.
Yeah,
And
but
that
that
was
was-
Rollout mats?
That was a couple of months ago, we ordered, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They showed up yesterday.
That's how long it took with just the mats.
Yeah.
So the whole season, everybody walked across with stocking feet because Greg's crew and myself were up there, so they didn't walk on it with their cleats because we didn't have the mats. And we weren't gonna keep picking plywood up and taking it on and putting it off because I was afraid the kids were gonna drop that, put a hole in it. So
Tom,
that took
you have
that long
something?
to get 4 mats.
She finished?
Yeah, thank you.
I talked to Dan Blowers, who's the guy who made the quote for MF, and he told me he could, got till December 31st, and depending on what happened tonight, for me to call him to see what he could do as far as that price of what we have, but, you have a building committee meeting tomorrow night?
Yeah.
I can't be there, I've got a meeting here with my parents.
I would just like you to prioritize the stuff that you could do without, that's all. That's all. I know we need this stuff, and we got a beautiful new track, and we don't wanna have trash equipment up there. So we wanna be proud of it, and that's why we did it, so that everybody would participate. And I'm not expecting this thing to go in half, but I am expecting us as a board to spend our money wisely. And I just don't think a lot of this would be wise spending. We need the hurdles, we need the pole vaulting stuff, we need most all of it. And I haven't seen the other quotes, and I believe Brian when he says they're all close. But let's be smart with the money that we do have, that's all, because like
Tom has something to
Justin
say.
said, we have other issues to deal with here too.
Kathleen, can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
So I agree with Justin, and I think it's gonna be a very hard pill for the town to swallow. If we have to look at any additional funding, what is the ultimate funding totals to go to the town or the Board of Finance one time? And it's not the continual again, additional
Stop
funding
you
request.
right there. This is coming out of our excess non-lapsing account.
We're
So
not asking the town for the
We're not
money.
asking the town for any money.
Tom, we had monies left over from last year. There was $468,000 was our total excess from last year. The last meeting, 260 something went back to the town, and we ended up keeping
No, we gave the town up to 200,000.
up to 200,000 went back to the town, and we hung on to 260 something. So we have in a non-lapsing account that is at our discretion. We kept enough money to handle this track equipment, but that non-lapsing also is supposed to support us in any event of an emergency here.
That's what I thought we were using the non-lapsing exit was for repair costs or unforeseen, not for this.
No, this is This is coming out of the non-lapse.
It used to be, but now we can spend it any way we want.
As long as-
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. Okay,
Kathleen,
then you are going to the building committee tomorrow night?
I'm the chairman.
Huh?
I'm the chairman.
Okay, then you're going.
And Deb is gonna prioritize her list.
Because we have to make a decision by December. We
Yeah.
can't just keep putting this off. We have to make our decision by December. And if we save 15,000 by only buying one tent and buying a different, I don't know, there may be a difference in the types of rakes. I don't know. Those are questions, and Deb prioritized. But in December, come hell or high water, we have got to make a decision on this and move it forward. Or we're not gonna have the equipment together and up and in place by the spring. So, we can put it off one more meeting, but that's it. So everybody, get their go through this. Question anything you think. Yes, Bill?
I just noticed
Brian has his hand up.
Yes, Brian?
I just wanted to let, sorry, it's echo. Let me turn my volume down. I sent the other quote, Bill Wachowski over to Danielle, so she can forward it out to the Board of Ed members, just so you guys see that they're very similar.
Okay, thank you so much. That's just that'll be helpful. Okay, is everybody in agreement with that? Okay. Then we're gonna move on.
Do we need a motion to table it till next month?
I don't know, do we need a motion to table, or we just table it?
All right, that's fine.
It's tabled. Okay, budget calendar approval.
Bill?
Did we all look at the new calendar?
So in attachment I, very colorful, green is you guys, yellow is Board of Finance. This incorporates the feedback from both the Board of Finance and Board of Ed members who reached out to me. I think this process, it works pretty well. We added I believe Kathleen, you had requested a joint BOE meeting. And that was added on January 21st, so the second yellow item on the schedule. I think that was probably the biggest change from the last schedule you looked at.
Yes. And we got buy-in from them on that too.
Yes.
Yep. And we did the Veterans Day change on this calendar also.
So I had marked that we were moving it to the Wednesday, not the Monday, but I don't know if I marked that wrong.
That's what I marked too. It
Okay,
was
yeah,
moving
it got
to-
changed to Monday, to November 10th instead of Wednesday.
Yeah, because aren't we celebrating on the Monday? It's the holiday is
Yeah.
the Monday, so I thought it
Should
was.
be Wednesday the 12th.
Yeah, it was Wednesday the 12th. Because Monday is the actual holiday, Tuesday is actual Veterans Day.
Right.
Monday, we don't have school. Yeah. Right, so it would be Wednesday, November 12th. I questioned that too. Because it's a Monday holiday. So it's Wednesday, November 12th.
We're on
No,
the regular
somebody skipped to
Board
the
of- Board of Ed.
Board of Ed calendar.
I'm getting lost.
Yeah, me too. I'm like
I
looking.
got Veterans Day next year.
I thought we were still okay. All right, as long as I'm not the only one.
Veterans Day 2025 is Tuesday, November 11th.
Right, but Monday is when they celebrate the holiday. You don't go to school on the Monday.
But Veterans Day is always celebrated on the day it falls.
It's always on the day it falls.
So when is school closed? The 11th?
The 11th. Yeah, so it'll be
So we're gonna go to school on Monday?
That we should have it
Well,
on
then
Monday.
that'll be fine then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Is that true?
Yeah, okay, it doesn't fall on, okay.
And January
It's not a
13th
Monday
doesn't
holiday. Okay, that's
fall on
right then.
Martin Luther
Right.
King Day.
I'm confused with the Monday, what holidays are Mondays and what holidays aren't, so we
But
don't have
Danielle,
a
it's not
problem.
November 10th. Oh, yes, Monday, November 10th,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
we're fine.
You're correct.
Yes, Justin.
Approve it.
So, we were on item C, which moved to D,
Okay, I'm
right? Budget
skipping.
calendar, motion to approve
Okay, never
budget
mind.
calendar, item I as presented.
Okay,
Second.
Open for discussion. My only question on this is where are we having the meetings? Here or town hall?
And what time would be good?
And time. Thank you. Time and place.
The Board of Ed meetings?
For the, like, the joint,
Are
the
we
joint.
back on the budget?
Yeah, we're back on the budget. I reined us back into that.
yeah, the joint, the tip, for the amount of people that attend, we could have them all here except for the joint one.
I think we could have a joint one here too.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, we can always widen ourselves out, add an extra table
Yeah.
in the middle and.
Well, we
that's
could
big,
do that
right?
too, that's not a bad idea.
And we're already set up with the AV here.
All right, okay, we can do that.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So all of the Board of Ed all of the meetings, including Board of Ed, will be here.
Mhm.
And then what time? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
We usually start at 6, right?
I
Time
vote
is
for
at
6,
7.
wholeheartedly.
No, like 10?
Heck, I vote for 5.
Time is 7 PM, and they'll be in the middle school media center.
6 or
I think
7?
Bill said 6.
He said 6.
You want them at 6?
Yeah.
Okay, 6 o'clock it is, get it over with. Get home early.
Okay.
Okay.
TMS
It'll be at
Media
6.
Center, 6 PM.
Okay,
So motion amended to include all meetings to happen in the TMS Media Center starting at 6 PM.
we
with
may
the
have
Board
a
of Education.
problem with the joint meeting, because they always meet at 7.
Okay, we can, I think we can
Cross
amend
that
that.
when we get there.
Yeah, we can amend this.
Okay.
But as regular, 6 PM would be our start time.
Okay.
So are you,
TMS Media Center.
are you talking about our regular meetings now, or just?
No, no, just the
Finance
budget.
calendar.
Just making sure, I was like, wait, are you
I'm on
changing
item,
those to 6? too?
item C
You're
that was
talking
moved to
about
D,
I.
item I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha, okay.
Okay, so
We'll have
for,
the joint meeting remotely. I don't do it until 7.
okay, that'll be fine, that, we're all set up for Zoom here, so. We'll make sure you get the worksheets and everything. Okay, so all the meetings except most like possibly the joint meeting will be at 6 here in the middle school media center. And the joint BOE BOF meeting, we most likely will have that one at 7.
If we're hosting, we can say we want it at 6, and they'll probably be here.
Well, okay, we can say that, but I'm not sure that everybody, okay, whatever. We'll go for 6, and if they make a stink, because they always meet at 7, you may change it. All right. That's the motion. Oh, who made the motion? Anybody make a motion? That'll be the motion.
I made the motion.
You make the motion. Justin makes the motion.
Yes, second.
Second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Any opposition, say no. Abstention? Okay, motion passes. All right, now that I've confused the, okay. Purchase of track equipment, we're tabled that.
Did we do E as far as the revised BOE meeting date?
Not yet, no, we screwed up and skipped over there. We haven't accepted it yet. But we did discuss it.
Make a motion to accept the Board of Ed meetings for 2025 as listed.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion on this? No. All right, then, hearing no discussion, I'll put the motion of accepting the 2025 Board of Education meeting minutes, the meeting dates to the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Say no. Any abstentions? Okay. Motion passes.
The next item was the soccer field, and Bill gave us an update under his report.
Right, we already have an update on that. Okay, any old business? No? Okay, hearing none, we go on to new business. We've tabled the track equipment. So now it's just approving the athletic co-ops that Deb Spinelli gave us an update on.
We'll make the motion to accept the athletic co-ops.
Okay, Justin, you want to second that then?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of entering into those 3 co-ops that Deb Spinelli mentioned, say aye.
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 Okay, any opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes. I do have some correspondence. It is from Judy Rondo, who is the chair of the Thompson Conservation Commission. It's dated November 1st. It's to me, dear Madam Chair. On behalf of the Thompson Conservation Commission, I would like to invite your commission to join us to develop the Thompson Sustainability Committee. The purpose of the committee would be to engage in a broad variety of practices that would support multiple aspects of a thriving and adaptable community, such as a robust local economy, accessible transportation systems, renewable and efficient energy, resilient planning, healthy natural resources stewardship, reliable materials management, and cultural ecosystem services, among others. To learn more about becoming a sustainable community, the Conservation Commission invited staff from Sustainable Connecticut, she gives a website, to give a presentation about their program at our August 19th regular scheduled meeting. Sustainable Connecticut is a voluntary certification program with a mission to foster inclusive, resilient, and vibrant Connecticut municipalities that provide opportunities for all to thrive by providing a menu of sustainability actions that build local economies, support equity, and respect the finite capacity of the environment, offering technical assistance to help advance sustainability initiatives, and recognizing and certifying municipalities for their achievements. Sustainable Connecticut provides a wide-ranging menu of best practices. Municipalities choose Sustainable Connecticut actions, implement them, and earn points towards certification. Sustainable Connecticut also provides opportunities for grant funding and crowdsourcing to help communities promote economic well-being, enhance equity while respecting the finite capacity of the natural environment. Thompson already conducts a number of eligible practices and has been maintaining a database to document these activities with the goal of increasing our town's sustainability while also enhancing the competitiveness of our proposals for future grant funding. Would you please discuss this with your board or commission to see if they are interested in participating in the Thompson Sustainability Committee? And if one of your board or commission would like to volunteer to take part. We anticipate a commitment of participation at quarterly meetings. Please direct interested persons to Tira Pengesic and me by November 30th. What I'm going to do is I'll scan this and I'll email it to you, so if anyone, you'll have the websites in their emails, and if any of you are interested in this, I think it's probably tied in with the 65 Main project and their whatever that
Permafrost or permaculture.
Permaculture gardening thing, which is a nice concept. But anyway, okay, any citizens' comments? Any citizens' comments from the Zoom audience?
We have one more,
We
we
would
have
more
one more letter.
Pardon me?
You have one more letter.
So, yeah, I just wanted to bring to the board's attention that I did send to the commissioner. Thank you for the HDT program, and it has had a profound impact on our students. And so, you know, if there's, and I think they're gonna be doing some lobbying during the next legislative session. And Patty and I are willing to stick our necks out there and testify that this is a good use of money. And I just wanted you to know that I
yes.
threw my hat in the ring for that, because we've seen good growth with our students.
Yep. You did. Yeah, you missed a good charts that we presented on how we have improved in our scores last month when you missed that. It was very good. We've done some really good improvements in testing scores. Yep.
So we want to continue.
Okay. Citizens, board comments?
Kathleen?
Yes.
There was a comment made in the board meeting last month that in the year prior that the Board of Finance provided us $200,000 because we were over on special education, as if it was a goodwill payment from the Board of Finance. And I want to make it abundantly clear that that is their legal responsibility for special education students, and that just because they have to come out and outlay that, there can't always be this idea that they're always going to be able to come back and be like, well, we gave you this, so now you need to give this back.
No. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.